Good evening, everybody. My name's Kerry Duval. I am the Warrior Queen. Tonight, I'm stepping in for Adam because he's not well. So it's going to be me and Andrea tonight. We've got an extra special guest waiting. So I will see you in a minute. Hi, Andrea. Before we start the show, Andrea's got a poem that's aimed at our topic tonight. So I'm going to give you the highlight. Take it away, Andrea.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday. And make sure you look at your clocks twice because you might be on somebody else's time frame and it's off. So here I go. It's about the inner child. That's what we're talking about today. And so I started a poem in regards to who is our inner child. And I'll begin. Who is our inner child? We all have one living deep inside, part of ourselves and birth assigned. Who is our inner child? Our childhood experiences, which make us smile, also experiences of fear, trauma, and being deprived. Who is our inner child? A part of our subconscious brainchild, mental and emotional messages devised. Who is our inner child? Emotions, memories, and beliefs derived, hopes, dreams, futures compiled. Who is our inner child? Our inner child parts can be identified: calm, warm, fuzzy, and self-esteem up high. Who is our inner child? Crushed, betrayed, hurt, and beguiled. Understood, loved, included, and mild. Who is our inner child? And I just want to say, take care of your inner child. And thank you for letting me share my poem.
That's absolutely brilliant. So let's bring on our guest and see what she thinks.
All right, thank you.
Welcome to the show, Christine.
Hi, ladies.
Hey, Christine.
Thank you for having me.
What did you think of Andrea's poem?
I don't think I need to say anything else about Andrea's covered everything. I was thinking, it was a beautiful poem, by the way, Andrea. It really, really was.
Thank you.
But, we all do have that inner child within us. And it is the person who is, fearful, who remembers beautiful things like the smell of grandma's perfume. All of those things that light you up or quash you down, that is all part of your inner child coming to the surface. So yeah, it was a beautiful, beautiful poem. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was really, really good. Yeah. And I think it highlights how important it is to connect with your inner child every now and then.
Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
And I do think it's an important process. And many people go, well, how on earth do you connect to your inner child? Well, you connected to that inner child regardless. It is there. It is part of you. It is deep inside of you. It's just about realizing and highlighting and hearing those little noises or seeing those little signs or picking up on certain physicalities that you do. Oh gosh, I used to do that when I was younger, or I used to be fearful of that when I was younger, so is that why I'm fearful of doing something now? Is it all, we do have that inner child within us, regardless what anybody says. I will gladly dispute it because she's there, he's there, they're there.
They're there.
Yeah, they're there. And they're there to guide us. They're there to protect us. They're there to push us. It's all about us as adults. It's really cold in this room. I can actually see my breath in my office. It's that cold. I need to put the heating on. It's about connecting and really understanding why they're such an integral part of who we are, because that's where we are able to flourish, we're able to grow, we're able to be more authentic in our ways, and not be fearful of being true to who we are and who we want to be and who we should be. I think many times we're told, don't do that, be quiet, don't ask such questions as a child, and you allow that to happen, and even through adult life you still allow it to happen. It's only when you give yourself permission and allow give permission to your inner child and say, look, okay, this doesn't sit right with me, and if it's not sitting right with you, it's not sitting right with you because your inner child is there going, I'm not happy with this, I'm not happy with this. But because we're so, don't do this, don't do that, you have to be a certain way, you have to do certain things, that's why we conform. And it's often the non-conformists who listen to their inner child. That's me. And it's people like, successful athletes, it's actors, it's entrepreneurs, it's all these types of people. The ones that are high achieving are probably the ones that are most comfortable with their inner child, because they enter that dreamlike state. Because as a child, you're often told, dream big, think big, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be an astronaut. And yet you might go out and go, right, and play astronauts, play on the moon or whatever. You build this whole little world around that thing there and then. So again, you're being present. And same in the entrepreneurial world. We're told to think big. We're told to, go big. And then we do the visioning, we do the envisagement, we do the mindfulness, we do the present, be present. Because again, when you're a child, how many times have you walked along, say with your own children or nieces, nephews, grandchildren, whatever, and you're walking along with them next to you, and then all of a sudden they've stopped and they're busy scurrying around because they're like, oh my gosh, what's going on down here? They're completely in their own little world, which is peaceful, it's tranquil, it's, it might be loads of ants that they're intrigued by, it's intrigue. And I think intrigue is a great thing to be embraced. And
yes,
right, I went on a bit of a waffle again, didn't I? I did this last
time. I loved it.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a few things popped out because not every child has that supportive network around them as a child, so telling them to dream big. Some children sadly don't get that. So how would a child, an adult that has had an abusive past or a not so good past connect with their child?
I think again I'm no inner child expert. Let me just put this out there. I am not an inner child expert. I'm speaking from my own experiences and whom I surround myself with now. Again, my history, my childhood, I had elements of trauma, and it might be generational trauma as well. It doesn't have to be big trauma, it can be little bit, little trauma, if you can say little trauma, big trauma, I don't know. But with that, I would say your inner child presents itself when you've not been privy, shall we say, or we've not being embraced in such a loving environment growing up. And those things that we act on now as adults, like it might be fear, shame, abandonment, it might be rejection, all these things are what will have happened to us in a childlike state, which is why when every time we get fearful, every time we have abandonment issues, every time we get rejected, it stores itself in our body. And I know this through some therapy that I do and that I've had. It's called total release experiences, where it's all stored in our psoas muscle, which is just, I think it's just below the coccyx or just above, I can't quite remember. But it's all stored there. And that's, you know, that's why we, if you think about when you're, say you are climbing a ladder as a child, you know, you're going up those rigging ladders in your PE class or whatever, and you don't like heights. And it's like, oh, I don't like this. Every time we go on a ladder in adult life, maybe, and we automatically get that I don't like heights, which might be born from the very everyday kind of task that you would do in a PE lesson, maybe, you know, climbing that ladder. It's instilled in us, and it's stored in our bodies, which means it comes and it's highlighted. So I think for those people who have had the neglect or have had the trauma or have had hardship whilst growing up and aren't able to connect or feel they're not able to connect to their inner child, I want to tell them it is possible. I'm also going to be truthful. There will be a lot of snot and ugly tears, because you are probably have to go through some old wounds which will need healing. And I think the important thing to highlight is to give yourself permission to start understanding and forgiving your inner child. Does that make sense? Because I think if you don't forgive, because if you've got an inner child that's, I'm going to say, a little bit broken, and I don't mean that derogatory or in any way, shape or form, I'm using it as a simple kind of analogy. If you've got an inner child that's a little bit broken, they're going to feel a little bit lost. That inner child's still going to feel that little bit lost. And as an adult, you look up to adults ordinarily, don't you, for support, for that belief system, for that, you know, you can do this, and that nurturing. So as an adult, being you right now, trying to speak to your inner child may still be that little bit fearful because it's adult. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Therefore, you've got to give your inner child permission to accept that you want to align with them, shall we say, and also they have to accept that you want to do this as well. So, and a lot of it, the way I did that, maybe it's best if I share how I did mine.
Yeah.
It might be a little bit like, what the bloody hell are you talking about?
And see, I can share too. Look, when you get done, Christine, yeah, I can relate to all this, and I can help Kerry too. Yeah, because I'm there. Go ahead, Christine. I'm excited. So excuse me.
I speak to my inner child every day. Every day I tell her I love her. Every day I tell her she's worth everything. Every day I speak to her, and I do this looking in the mirror. You know, it might be brushing my teeth. It might be as I'm sat here with my window and you see a reflection. It might just be little comments like giving a smile and a knowingly look. I don't do it so that I'm like, hey, how are you doing today? It's not a lot of it is subconscious, a lot of it is internal. But I do think forgiveness. I know that you're worried. I know that you're scared. Believe me, I've got your back. I believe that you've got my back. So let's go through this journey together. It's like little mantras that you can do to help draw her out, really. And I think the biggest way that I accepted my inner child was when I started not giving a shit about what people thought of me, and in fear of judgment. Don't get me wrong, that judgment and ugly head rears itself more often than not, but it's a lot better than what it was. But I can quite happily go hug a tree. I can quite happily go jump in puddles. I can quite happily put my roller boots on and go roller skating around the streets. I can quite happily, goof around and be fun and childlike. And it's not an immaturity. It's not an immaturity. It's getting back that balance of, don't have to be serious. Life's fucking serious. We don't have to be serious all the time. It's about channeling. What is it I really want to do? What is it that younger Chrissy would like to do? Would younger Chrissy like to go roller booting at 8 o'clock on a night? Yeah, there's going to be that element of fear when it's dark and it's scary and you can't see anything out there. So that's when the adult Chrissy would be like, well, that's a little bit weird, isn't it? Well, no, we'll take a torch. And do you know what I mean? It's pushing boundaries as well. Not that I would go roller booting with a torch. That would be a bit ludicrous. But I'm just trying to give hypothetical reasons. And it's about protecting your inner child, because in doing so, she's actually protecting you as well. And it's all parts of your intuition, all things like that. A lot of it is your inner child.
I'll tell you something else that's your inner is probably connected to is inner child. I'm going to pin it up. When it gets towards Christmas, going in the toy aisle, not just pressing try me on one toy, doing every single one he can reach.
Absolutely. It is the goofing around, because that you're being true and you're being authentic to yourself. Yes, other people might think, oh my gosh, you're so immature. But who's the one having fun? Who is the one having fun? And that's what it boils down to. Life's about having fun. We need to stop doing and be more being. And in being, we need to have fun. If, do the doing in having fun ways, not the, right, okay, we have to go to work, we have to do this, we have to do boom, boom, boom. I know so many people who get up, go to work, don't switch off, don't do anything for themselves, anything. They're busy doing everything for everybody else. And their excuses are, I don't have time for me. Well, I challenge that and go, well, what is it that you're scared of? Why aren't you making time for you? What is it that you are actually scared of doing when you stop? When you have to stop and go, right, okay, what can I do? Because all these little thoughts can niggle at you. I'm trying to talk and what's that I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? It's they're too busy.
That's so true.
Family and friends, and it's like, just stop. What is it you actually want to do in your life? Because
that's why you have to love what you do. You have to love what you do in your life.
Yep.
I get to be a big old child. I get to go out and play popcorn and play games and stuff with the children and play instruments with the children and the elderly and heal them through music and dancing. You know what I'm saying? That I'm sorry, I'm busting at the seams about this inner child, because my mother, my family introduced me to my inner child when I was a child. And her name is Frassie, which means I've been here before. Okay. I didn't even know my name was Andrea. Okay. And then I saw myself as I'm Peter Pan because I'm making the music and stuff. for everybody. Hey, let's get off the trauma. Let's be the children. You know what I'm saying? Let's enjoy ourselves and dance and so. But I am Tom Sawyer. I've been Tom Sawyer also since I was a little girl. And I identify with being him, his adventurous nature, the way he could get people to do things and pay him.
Brilliant.
As a child, that's brilliant. So I'm busting out the seams about the inner child. My inner child is Frassie. I talk to her all the time. She might say, let's go to the lake and stick our feet in the lake today. And look, the ego states, you have an adult ego state, you have a parent ego state, and you have a child ego state. Being aware about all those things can help you come in contact with inner child, Kerry. She's already there. My Frassie, she protects me. She's the one that, Andrea, she might be, and take whatever they say, their judgment, as you were talking about, Christine. But what's Frassie gonna say? No, forget their judgment. Be true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Be courageous and go jump in the water if you want to. I'm sorry, but I'm just busting at the seams about the inner child.
There's no apologies needed. Absolutely. Francie won't be saying sorry. She'd be like going, hell yeah. No apologies needed at all. And you're right, it is about, just letting go, just connecting.
Don't worry about what people think.
I mean, I still do, don't get me wrong, I still do. When I put myself, I told you before we aired, I've got things coming up which I'm absolutely petrified about. But, it's like, okay, just do it. What's the worst thing that could happen? What is the worst thing that could happen? Just do it. I know I'm protected. I know I've got people around me who will support me. And, it's an opportunity for me to highlight and showcase the growth and journey from my inner child, because my inner child would probably be like, oh, maybe not, but no, okay, we're going through this journey together. Yes, you used to be told, be quiet, don't talk, don't say this, don't say that. No, I'm using my voice, our voice, collective voices, mine and my inner child's voice, and we're going for it. And it's okay, we'll be scared together, but we've got each other's back. And
yes, I got y'all's back.
And that's the way it goes. You are never alone. You have always got that inner voice. And it's how we use it, it's how we speak to it, it's how we honor it. And I think the most important part of it, I mean, again, for me, it was learning to forgive, learning me, that's such bad English. I had to learn to forgive myself, and I had to learn to forgive how I treated others, and that included my younger self. I had to learn how I thought of her. And, through that journey, it was, what? We're actually shit hot. We're a good duo, because look where we are now. Look what we've overcome. Look what we've faced. Look what we're doing now globally, not just little. Yes, we're still little and we're still building, but I'm actually reaching global audiences. I don't think that's bad for somebody who was told as a child, shh, be quiet. Shh, be quiet. And I think that's important. So.
Yeah. Speaking about.
Adam, that's true.
Yeah, I'll pop it up. We can't change what happened in the past. Why we're letting it impact us now. So actually, that does actually tie into what I was just about to say. So What happened to you as a child to make you go on to this path, so become the habit breaker and connecting with your inner child?
Oh wow. I was a former functioning alcoholic, and that stemmed from, I had a very loving upbringing, I want to say that, but I was very conflicted. And a lot of my worries and my stresses were born when my mum and dad divorced or prior to their divorce. That really affected me and knocked the wind out of my sails. So I started drinking to help cope. It was a coping mechanism. And I've used that ever since my adult life. Anything that went bad, any trauma that hit, I'd just reach for the bottle. So if we're talking, I've had divorce myself, I've had loss of child, I've had serious debt. Oh gosh, you name it, I can probably go tick. Yeah, that's happened to me too. And I think the biggest thing that made me really connect was I had some divine intervention in 2019. I actually met my earth angel, and I saved him. And that's what I say. I saved him, but he saved me, because it could have been me that was ready to end my life. And I think, I mean, I don't want to make this all sad and depressing. It's not. I'm very lucky as to where I am right now. And I think what needed to happen was for me to reconnect with myself. And in doing so, it meant that I had to reconnect with my past. I had to reconnect with people who I'd pushed away. And I also had to reconnect mostly with my younger self and say, look, none of this shit that's happened is your fault. It's not your fault that this happened this way. And I had to give her the clearance, and I had to give her the right to step forward and accept that apology and that forgiveness, and also know that she will be eternally loved. And I think that's the biggest thing for me. I had to forgiveness and know that she's loved and that I'm loved. And thank you for her allowing me to be the woman that I've become today. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be who I am today.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah. So
how you've obviously been through all them hurdles in your life, but you've become the person you are now, and you're proud of the person you've become.
Oh, I am so proud of who I am. So proud. And I actually say, I mean, how old am I now? 47. I've never loved myself, and I don't mean that in an egotistical way or anything. I have never felt happier. I have never loved myself as much as what I do. I think it's my belief is I'm here to empower other people. No matter what we go through in life, no matter how dark it can be, there is someone there for you regardless. You may feel you're alone.
You're getting to the other side. You're getting right to the other side.
Yeah.
You're not staying
and
stuck.
Once you get,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Once you get through that darkness, goodness me, it's a whole different ball game. A whole different ball game. You've just leveled up, and spiritually you level up. I've become a lot more spiritual. I've become a lot more grounded. I've become a lot more present, and I think that's the thing. I journal. I do gratitude. I have practices in place that have become my healing, but it's also become my way of life. And that's pretty much what we do at Habit Breaker. We strip it back and I take them through the reframing methodology. And, you know, with that, it's all about finding your inner child. It's all about, you know, grace and gratitude and things like that. And Adam, we are always leveling up. We are, you know, and some do it different extremes. You know, there's times where I feel like I want to break out of my skin. It's like, oh my God, my skin feels too tight for my body. And that's not because I'm eating too much cake. Just for that. But you know what I mean? I can literally want to chop the end of my feet off because I'm like, I just need to expand and stretch. And that sounds so, when I say this to people who are around me, they look at me as if I've got two heads. But I liken it to a snake shedding its skin. It's like, right, okay, I need to shed that. I'm now on to the next level. And I, you know, and as a child, I was quite spiritual, I think. As a child, I saw things, but again, the alcohol and everything else, just, I numbed it. I was like, not having any of that. And as a child, my father used to say to me all the time, you know, we used to live 200 yards from a spiritualist church, and my father's beliefs were, you don't go in there. They're all crazy nutters in there. They're bonkers. So as a child, it's like I was taught, don't embrace this thing that you can see or you can hear. So that's what I did. I quashed it, and it's only now leading that sober path and that lifestyle that I'm opening up to my intuition. I'm opening up to receiving messages. Again, not messages I'm not like, okay, I can read your palm, or it's my own personal messages and my beliefs. You know, I speak to my father now, who's passed in spirit, which is quite ironic, you know, and he has come through to me, and I smell him. I have all these signs, and again, it's just his way, I think, of him going, I'm here, I'm still around you, I'm protecting you, even though
the ancestors are. They are.
Absolutely. You know, he didn't agree with on this earth plane, but now, you know, he's around me, and I'm forever grateful for that. Forever grateful.
You're never alone. You have 10,000 grandmothers behind you. You're never alone. You have 10,000 grandmothers. That's our indigenous way. You know what I'm saying? So you're never alone. And they are. They're the bluebirds. When you see the butterflies that remind you of your grandmother, or that's how I connect too. So
the rainbows and everything. And it's funny, Andrew, because when you're saying, you know, we're never alone, there's so many times where people may feel alone and lonely. There's a difference between alone and lonely. I'm quite happy being alone and being in solitude sometimes, and being in my own space. And I think that's completely different to being lonely. And some people don't understand the two, but they are two very different things. So,
going back to your spiritual thing, growing up, I had this necklace which you could open the little caps on it and change the little stone inside it, and I absolutely loved it. And now as an adult, I'm into chakras and meditation and yoga. So obviously, when I was looking through at a crystal necklace, I came across this necklace. Basically, it was very, very similar to the necklace I had as a child, where you could open it and change the little crystal inside. And I'm like, wow. Even as a child, I was into these. It was sort of, it's got to be a sign that I'm meant to be on this path. And I just found it really, really weird that I'm drawn back to that necklace that I had as a child, that I have vivid memories of having as a child.
But how beautiful is that? How does that make you feel? And that's the thing that you've got to really fixate on, you know, having these things, these little stories like this, how does it make you feel?
When I first seen it, I was like, I was shocked. I was like, that's the necklace I had as a child. It's very, very similar to the one that I had as a child. And I didn't understand what the different colour stones were. Whereas now I understand it. I just think that having those little stones as a child, I used to colour coordinate them with the outfit I had on. Because I didn't know what else they were. I didn't. You know, I was a child and obviously didn't realise anything like that. You know, spiritual stuff and chakras, I'd never heard of them. My parents had never heard of them. But then as an adult, I've come into this world and learned everything and have found this necklace again. And I'm like, wow, you know, that's got to mean something, that I'm meant to be where I am now. Maybe I mean, I've got my nana that passed away a few years ago, and even though nobody in the house is making toast, we can smell toast like it's just been made. And I know it's my nana. I do. I don't know how I know it's my nana. I know it's my nana. And it's sort of, now that I've found that necklace, it's sort of like, that's my nana's way of telling me that I'm on the right path in life. Because I've been struggling with, do I do this next step? Don't I do this next step? And then I found that and I'm like, I do need to go that next step. I'm going the right way. I feel like that's my sign. I'm going the right direction. I'm making the right choice.
And that's why, you know, you just follow the signs, Kerry. And that's pretty much what I do, you know. Even signs like new number sequences, things like that. I love number sequences. You know, you have a problem or you have something that you think you want to work out, and you do ask, you know, oh, just show me a sign. Just show me a sign that I'm on the right path. And it could be that butterfly. It could be that rainbow. It could be, you know, the smell of toast.
Who is this?
Hi, this is Chris with the neurology.
Oh, Andrea, have you got your phone? Oh, Andrea's on the phone. Andrea. What you like, Andrea? You know you're not supposed to answer your phone on live. Oh. Well, I'm gonna kick her out while she's muted. Oh, that doesn't look professional, Andrea.
Oh, it might have been important. It might have been. You don't know. It might have been.
It's unmuted, so let me just check.
It was.
Are we back, Andrea?
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
You're going to go on the naughty.
You know I don't do that, but that's my daughter just calling, and our time is messed up. And I did tell her to call around this time. And she wasn't going. I just had to tell her, hey, I'm on a show. I apologize, everyone.
Oh, good. As long as your daughter's okay.
Yeah.
As long as your daughter's okay, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I feel like we're coming towards the end of the show, but I want to get to know a little bit about you, because at the start of the show, we didn't really ask any questions about you. So who is Christine?
Who is Christine? Oh gosh, Christine's my Sunday name. Actually, it does say Christine up there, doesn't it? Christine. Okay, I am a behavioural change expert who runs a business called Habit Breaker. I'm also a mother of 2 amazing boys, and grandmother to an amazing little girl who's now 3 months old, just coming up to 3 months old. And I have big plans. I have big plans for Habit Breaker. I just need to step out of my comfort zone and step away from the other side of things that I do. I also work in TV and film as a production buyer and set decorator. So that's the other side of what I do. But my big mission is to help and empower others to break away from unhealthy habits that no longer serve them in a positive way. Mainly it's alcohol, but I've worked with people who've had gambling problems, who have smoking, things. And again, people say, oh, is it addiction that you work with? I tend not to work with addictees. I work with the ones who think that they don't have a problem. So, you know, it's just a little bit of fun, but then it can absolutely just snatch them and take them into the absolute pit of despair. So I try and get them before they enter that pit of despair, and I just change their habits and their lifestyle through the reframing methodology, which is all about having fun. It's all about having a focus. It's all about vision. It's all about grace and gratitude, mindset. And I get them to work. So if you want to change your path and your way, you have to do the work. It just doesn't happen. And I can't do it for you. I can give you the tools and the tips and the guidelines, but I can't go, there's the magic dust. It's just going to change, because it won't. You actually have to take those very much needed steps so that you live that empowered life and live like a child. I mean, if you look behind me, you can see that's me, look, splashing in water. That's what it's all about. It's all about having fun and being that, you know, that crazy, not crazy lovable kid. I used to be called Crazy Chrissy. That's what I used to be called, because I was a bit crazy. But now I'm beautifully bonkers, is what I've been told. So I'm going to take beautifully
bonkers.
Yeah, so that's who I am, really. And do you know what? This year, for the first time, I can actually say I've never been happier. Really, really. My relationship-wise, I had a bad habit of picking really, really shite partners. But again, that comes back to inner child. You know, and now, you know, you do the work on yourself, you get to design the life that you actually want to lead. And that's what I do. And that is how I showcase what I do. Live the life that you want to lead by designing it yourself.
Yeah. I mean, a phrase is just coming to my head. Be the change you want to be.
Yeah.
Am I right with that one? It just popped into my head and I'm like, where the hell was that from?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, or be the person, Kerry, that you needed to that inner child. Be that person to that inner child. When you connected to the little necklace and everything, honey, that took you back. You was like, you know, that's what it's about. So nurture that little girl in there that didn't get what she was, you know, whatever she needed. You're going to give it to her. The adult Kerry is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I will say my inner child wanted more than one cat as an adult. I always said, because I wasn't allowed to have more than one cat as growing up, my mum and dad always limited me to just one cat. I wanted more. So as an adult, I knew I was adamant I'm going to have more than one cat. I did have 9. Sadly, one was killed on Halloween. So now I'm down to 8. So we have had a bad few days with losing my cat. But we're fighting through. I'm going to honour my cat's memory and carry on. You know, I've still got a picture up because I've got a picture of all 9 of my cats on the wall, and I've not changed it, and I'm not going to change it. She's staying where she is.
You don't need to.
Why not? She's not to be packed away.
No.
She's part of the parcel.
Yeah.
9 cats was pretty good going, babe.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the cat that was taken from us too soon, she gave birth to an unplanned litter, and we have 3 of her daughters still with us now. So I've still got bits of her with me now. So that's okay.
Marvelous.
Talk about inner child.
Yep.
You know, it's funny because I know that, speaking about inner child and things like that, going back to my childhood, I was massively into dance and amateur dramatics, and I did dance from the age of 11 to 19, and then I danced whilst I lived in Cyprus, and So I was always kind of on a stage. And when I had NLP many years ago, my NLP practitioner said to me, go to a place where you feel happy and where you feel safe. And I always went back to the stage, which is really quite bizarre, because now in the line of work that I'm doing now, I am on stage. I do my public speaking. I do, shows like this. I do podcasts, and, and it's like, holy shit, you've kind of gone full circle. So this is where I know that my inner child is helping me as adult Chrissy, because she was all over the stage element, the dancing element, the amateur dramatics. And it's only as an adult where I'm like, ooh, should I not? So again, like you with the necklace and the necklace that you've got now and your cats as a child, it's like, the stage for me was a massive thing in part of my childhood and my growing up. And to see that it come full circle, it's, well, this is where you're meant to be. You were being trained at 11 years old to be getting yourself ready for where you're meant to be now. And in that training, you've had to go through all these hardships so that you can stand on those stages and stand in your truth and be authentic and go, yeah, that shit happened to me, but this can happen to you if you change your ways and your beliefs and your habits. So yeah, it's even going right back to linking. It's no coincidence. It just happens. It's part of our, is it lineage? Like whatever, I don't know. You're better at stuff than Andrea when you talk about things like this. But I believe that I should have been on stage, and that's I'm quite happy wearing that now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'll just ping Adam's comment back up, because obviously he said he's proud of us all. Thank you, Adam. And he's back next week. He will be back next week, all stronger. Adam's not feeling well. He's got the man flu, as he says. So he's fighting through it. He will be back. He'll be back on your screens, bugging you all next week.
Well soon, buddy.
We love you, Adam.
Yep, we do. So thank you for being an absolutely amazing guest.
You're welcome.
I've learned. I feel like I've learned a lot, because I need to connect with my inner child more, I think.
And just start.
Introduce yourself. Yes, connect.
Just start. Just go hi, and speak to her, and tell her you love her, and
yes,
she'll come through.
Yes.
She'll come through.
Yeah.
Notice when you get that urge. Yeah, when you get that urge to do something that might be a little bit naughty, a bit cheeky. Oh, that's you then. Oh,
Adam said he's taking you to the toy house.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like, you know what? No, not the toy shop, Adam. I have a favourite shop, Home Bargains, that I am in every single week. At least once a week, I go to Home Bargains, and I feel like that's where my inner child comes out, because I've just got the urge to just grab everything and dump it in the trolley, and I'm like, oh.
Are you
says no, we can't afford to get everything.
Are you a sensory person? Are you a touchy? I need to touch that. I need to feel that.
I just like dumping everything in the trolley and seeing a full trolley, and then I just don't like the bill at the end.
You'd be a good.
Look how she got all good.
I know. You'd be a good petty cash buyer, Kerry.
Yep.
For TV and film. You get to spend other people's money and making other sets look pretty.
She already told Adam if she makes it here to see me in the United States, she wants how much? You want $1,000 to go to the Walmart and
$1,000 for Walmart, $1,000 for Costco, and then somehow we're going to drag all that back to Britain.
Yes.
Don't ask me
The
how
inner
we're going to do it.
child,
We
there she
will do
is.
it.
Dream
She
big.
said, we will
Get a
do
private
it.
jet.
Yep.
If
You can
dream big,
actually. I have actually seen something. It were on TikTok video, right? That some private jets, they have to obviously travel out to go and meet the person that owns them. So on that journey, they will actually let you rent it out to have a private jet journey, and they're not that expensive. I'm gonna actually look into it.
this is true.
It's something I've always wanted to do, is go on a private jet, and even if I have to rent one just for one way, I will do it.
You get a team of people to go with you, and then you split the cost of the private jet. So
Yep.
ways of making it work.
She
I
needs
will
all the
figure it out,
room,
Stella.
though.
I will figure it out.
She needs
Yeah,
all the
if it's
room
meant
for
to
all the
be,
stuff she's
it
going to
will
buy.
happen. Yeah. Well, thank you for being an amazing guest.
You're welcome.
I've really, really enjoyed tonight. I hope you have too.
Loved it.
Yes,
Thank
it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
My
you.
inner
And
child is here, you guys.
Good luck with your upcoming ventures. We will watch out for you.
Thank you, darling.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes, we
see you
will.
later, everybody.
Thank you for coming.
Bye.
Yeah.